How long after someone's walked in the door do you know whether or not you're going to hire them?
Now, the reality is I think first impressions make a big impact. So I think the first time the person opens their mouth, you pretty much know. And, and then also just, and do they present themselves well? So
We hear all the time about how the candidate should prepare for an interview. How should the interviewer prepare?
Well, I think that you need to know what you want out of the interview. And I think that goes to say for any meeting. What do you want out of the meeting? Knowing what you want that person to do, to be, and how you want them to do it is very helpful.
What do you learn about the candidate before you even ask them a question?
Well, I like to do pre-interview interviews with people. And so I typically will have a phone call conversation. If I'm the one doing the interviewing, I will almost always have a phone call with the person to see if they are a compatible person. And I think whenever you're hiring somebody, the cultural fit is far more important than the skill set. I can teach somebody a skill, but I can't teach them how to get along with the people that work here. I can't teach them how to be something that they're not.
What can you learn from someone's answer to where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I like to know that if I'm interviewing somebody for a job, in 5 years they still plan on being here. Okay, it's ironic how many people say I want to be somewhere else, doing something else different, and you kind of say, okay, well, why are you here then? You're a stepping stone. But I want to hear that they see a pattern of development, growth, and that progression. There are people who are going to be doing the same thing in 5 years that they're doing today. And in some cases, that's okay. But all in all, I want to see that people are going to continue to have a vision and a goal of bettering themselves.
What characterizes someone who has drive?
Well, history, looking at what they've done. If a person comes in and says, I've been doing the same thing for the last 10 years and they've never bettered themselves, and they come in and tell you that they're going to better themselves and consistently grow, and you can kind of ask yourself, why weren't you doing it before? I want to see that a person is going to have a history of progression, a consistent pattern of growth and development and challenge. Because if someone doesn't challenge themselves to be better, then I'm not going to be able to challenge them to grow. They have to want to grow themselves.
Generally speaking, what characteristics do you look for in candidates?
What's important to me is that somebody is trustworthy. Trust is the most important thing that I look for in an individual. I don't care what role it is, whether it's the vice president of finance or whether it's the janitor. You have to trust the people that you work with. You have to trust the people that work for you. I can't be everywhere, and I don't want to be everywhere. If I can't trust you, then you're not going to work there very long.
What makes someone trustworthy?
Well, doing what they say they're going to do. Doing what they didn't have to say that they were going to do. I think looking after the company's best interest, obviously looking after their own interest. Everybody is an individual, and they have to take care of themselves and their families, but they need to take care of the company. If they see somebody doing something that's counter to the company, they have to step up and stop it, or get help from somebody who can stop it. But trust is so significant.
What questions should interviewers ask that they wouldn't normally?
Well, there's a lot of questions we're not allowed to ask. I like to know what makes a person tick, and personally, and it's not that I'm trying to pry. The bottom line is that I want to know that a person is going to be happy. If the person has a need, if the person has a problem, and and they're changing jobs because they have to make more money as a single parent, I want to know that. And the reason is because I want to help if I can. Maybe that kind of that person, we might be a little more flexible on in terms of hours. Because we always say, if you're happy at home, you're going to be happy at work. And so you got to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to have a happy home front.